really not affiliated with Geeks and Gamers as far as I'm concerned. And I really just want to make that clear.
Forced adversity.
Woke agenda.
Pro SJW feminist fans of Birds of Prey.
Trash, woke trash movies.
Hertzman hates Doomcock.
Meet Richard Meyer. What are your thoughts on the current state of comic books?
Comics are kind of weirdly dying politics, specifically identity politics being shoved into everything. A character that used to look like a 1980s Dallas Cowboy cheerleader basically looks like me now.
We, of course, are rocking those A cups. Anything above a B cup, you hate women.
Ms. Marvel was introduced as a Pakistani-American Muslim, Riri Williams, who replaced Iron Man. If you don't like her, it's because you're racist or sexist, but probably both.
It would upset a racist.
I think it would.
Welcome to the channel, and thank you for being patient last week as I took some time off. It was much needed. If you're not subscribed already, you should probably maybe do that. I don't know, I'm not your dad, unless I am. Before we get into today's topic, I've got a song that I wrote for just this occasion. It applies to this entire video, so it's just a real quick song. I hope you like it. Allegedly. You might have seen Richard Lil Dick Meyer on the Jim Jeffries show a few years back.
But Meyer and his crew aren't just fighting what's in comic books, they're also attacking women and people of color who make comic books.
They're hiring people for the BuzzFeed. Look, we hired this overweight black woman. Isn't that exciting?
You have said that some women are sleeping their way to get into these positions?
So I did one video. It's a common thing for my enemies to bring up.
Literally sucked her way into the comic industry. Is a dumpster.
You called a woman a dumpster?
Yeah.
This was the pinnacle of Comicsgate, before very many people were aware of the outright bigotry and misinformation that are at the core of this organized tantrum. I've seen a few of his sycophantic defenders saying that the interview was deceptively edited to make him look bad.
Okay, so how do you feel about this black Superman? Okay, a slightly less black Superman.
Yeah, no, that's actually better.
I have no doubt that there were some cuts in that interview that were done to maximize comedic effect because, it is a Comedy Central show after all, and Lil Dick Meyer knew that going in, so, what's his excuse, right? But the words that he said are just right there. It's not like they cut together entire sentences. The stuff he said was just downright embarrassing for any grown man to say publicly. I mean, I'm sure it feels good to type that kind of crap, from behind a Twitter screen or whatever, but when that kind of delusion meets the real world, it's going to sound pretty stupid to most sane people. Richard Meyer is a 12-year-old spoiled brat in a grown man's body, entitled, misogynistic, transphobic, racist, all the hits. He's waged harassment campaigns against a lot of his critics, most of whom are women, people of color, or queer folks. So yeah, huge piece of crap. Meyer sued actual comic professional Mark Waid a few years ago, because Mark Waid was one of the many people who alerted Antarctic Press to Meyer's behavior when Antarctic had just agreed to publish his comic. The publisher dropped his book, and Meyer decided that Mark Waid was the next target of his grift. That lawsuit was dropped by Meyer last year, and the parties agreed not to discuss anything publicly. The total raised for Meyer's book was $250,000 or so.
Anyway, we start off right here, and I got confused, so I go, oh, wait, what? Huh? What? Why is a woman being drawn to be sexy and alluring and fit and happy? It was just a bait and switch, because this is what we get. Yep, take that, male gaze. F you, target audience. Take that. Frumpy this isn't even a mom. This is a single woman in her 40s on laundry day who is completely given up.
Richard Meyer's YouTube channel, which is now called Ya Boy Zach for some reason that I'm sure has nothing to do with avoiding suspension, was originally called Diversity in Comics. Meyer claims to not be against diversity, but is merely against forced diversity, which is an entirely subjective metric that nobody can point to any objective definition of. Therefore, it just becomes the label for whatever, phantoms you want to apply it to, whatever is going on in a comic. Oh, there's a woman in this comic, so let's force diversity. Oh, they put a black person, they're talking about being a black person too. You're not supposed to talk about being a black person or a Muslim or whatever, right? That's forced diversity. They call it forced, but those books still sell, and they're, making multi-million-dollar movies and TV shows and stuff. This is pretty common with Comicsgate. They make extremely subjective claims that most fans disagree with. They use those claims to create clickbait articles and videos and so on that entice casual and new fans to believe basically what they're saying is true. They take it as the gospel. Then you've got a whole legion of people going SJW, SJW, SJW at everything they don't like. To their credit, it seems to work. They've built a legion of mindless followers on misinformation, rage clicks, and thinly veiled bigotry. Then they reap the rewards by offering an alternative product when they manage to actually get their comics out on time. Meyer has been banned or laughed out of nearly every online community he's joined in the last decade. The Comicsgate rhetoric is to say that it's just those mean old SJWs trying to cancel him or whatever. They deflect from his shitty actions by pointing out the shitty actions of other people, and those claims are typically not even remotely true. Pretty much like anything else that they claim. That's what we call in the business whataboutism, deflecting from words and actions. It's real alpha behavior, to be honest. I mean, that's what an alpha male does, is they don't take responsibility for their words and actions, and they just point to somebody else and go, "Nuh-uh, that person did a thing too." That's what men do. Richard Meyer is a grifter, a coward, a bigot, and he's not even capable of pretending otherwise. So what does this guy even do? Besides lie, encourages sycophants to harass his perceived enemies, and talk shit on other creators and other projects in a medium that he allegedly loves? Well, we'll discuss his comic book work in a moment, but his real passion, what really gets him fired up in the morning, is making the laziest videos possible while driving recklessly.
Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I actually had to have a little talk with myself. I literally had to ask myself, can you safely drive a car while recording this video?
I don't know where he's driving to all the time, but so many of his videos start with, "You guys, I had to pull over my car to make this video." At least one time, he spent half the video making excuses for why he just had to record this video while driving. The reason? Someone said something on Twitter that he didn't like.
True alpha male shit.
Jesus, man, triggered much? So sensitive to others' views that he risks his and others' safety to whine about it in a video? Of course, calling it a video is putting it charitably. It's kind of like playing one chord on a guitar and just calling it a song.
Allegedly.
That's it. That's the song. So he finds these tiny Twitter accounts that say things he disagrees with or wants to mock, and he makes panicked videos, as if the tweets represent a phantom SJW conspiracy against comics and him, or whatever. He either doesn't understand that you can find virtually any opinion on Twitter and make a video out of it if you choose to, if you look hard enough, or he does understand that and he thinks that his followers are fucking morons. So he exploits his followers by blowing tweets out of proportion, vaguely connecting them to the woke mob or whatever term they're using now to discourage their followers from thinking too hard. But that's not a job, is it? How does he make money? You would think it's from making indie comics, because that's what he talks about a lot. And he does make money, presumably for making comics, but he doesn't actually put the comics out. When you look at the campaigns that he's run on Indiegogo, he's stacked some serious paper. But if you look a bit closer, you see he hasn't fulfilled 4 projects despite taking a lot of money from his fans. And never mind the fact that I think this shit just looks lazy, uninspired, and just plain bad. If his backers want that from him, that's fine. There's no accounting for taste. But just the other day, he launched a 5th project, despite being way behind on the other 4. Even his fans have started to turn on him, which is pretty impressive. I mean, these guys are apparently unable to spot a grift, but, you know, 5th time's a charm. Fool me once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, you know, shame on you. Fool me 5 times and I'll probably still give you some more money. You know, hopefully they wise up to this entire Comicsgate scam because it's getting pretty old. And every day that goes by, the people who still subscribe to that crap just look more and more pathetic. Now, Lil Dicky claims that being late on crowd-funded comic projects is the norm, and that expecting books to be on time is just silly. Well, that's simply not true. Yes, lots of projects are late, but there are a few examples where someone has 4 overdue projects and then launches a 5th one. I mean, I couldn't actually find one single example other than Richard Meyer. Maybe you can find another example of someone who has 4 overdue projects and is launching a 5th, but, you know, let me know in the comments if you know of one like that. Altogether, he's raised over $500,000 for his projects, and in return, his backers have gotten like 2 books. Just a pathetic grift from a bigoted coward. He's been documented making all kinds of hateful comments, particularly transphobic comments. When called out on that, he decided to use the Trevor Project, which is an LGBTQ charity organization. He used their name to collect more money for himself. It's the scummiest of scumbag shit. And yet his fans eat it up and they use that as proof that he's not transphobic. So I'll leave a link below if you want to actually support the Trevor Project. They're a really awesome organization. Richard Meyer, who is Ethan Van Sciver's right-hand bitch boy, and has no actual talent or opinions of his own, became famous for popularizing the Comicsgate movement, before falling into obscurity once Ethan Van Sciver greased himself up and miraculously slid his enormous mass into the door. Now Van Sciver has taken the reins as the unofficial leader, cucking Meyer for all to see. Both men have been tied to the alt-right website Kiwi Farms. Where angry men with tiny dicks go to organize harassment campaigns, dox people's personal information, and generally jerk each other off with hate speech for lulz because it makes them feel important, I guess. Before we go, let's look at a comment that I got on a recent video. I don't know if it's the YouTube algorithm to blame or whatever, but as an impressionable teenager at the time, I used to be part of Comicsgate and anti-SJW BS in my younger years. Well, I'm 21 now, so imagine 16 being young for me. And as I got older, I started to realize that it was really dumb, and honestly, I wish I could take that time back. Then again, I don't have the time machine washer like you have, which is a reference to my Marvel Before the Agendas video. I'll leave a link below. I've started to read comics and realize there is some great stuff to this day. I'm not sure if this Comicsgate BS will ever end, but I hope more people that are part of those crowds can realize it's all BS and a major grift. I looked at your channel and it's a breath of fresh air compared to other comics content on YouTube. I think that comment says it all. And I hope other people will do like this commenter and take a step back and ask themselves if this is something they really want to be involved in. Comicsgate is a scam, and I don't believe every follower of the movement is a shitty person. Those who make money off of the movement are absolutely, if not hateful, just deceitful con artists. The Comicsgate creators are not in it for the love of the game. They're in it for the hatred of whoever they label an SJW or woke. Comicsgate isn't based on whose work you support, but who the people you support hate. And buddy, let me tell you, that's a shitty way to be a fan and an even shittier way to be a human being. They're completely incapable of selling their books on its own merits, so they have to create a strawman enemy to rally against. But there are real victims to this. You know, it'd be one thing if it was just a deceitful marketing thing or whatever. Those happen all the time. But there are real, tangible victims and real, actual harm that comes from this. But the scam is becoming more clear now, and I welcome anybody who's questioning their loyalty to Comicsgate to my channel. Do you really want to be the last one to wake up and smell the bullshit? Feel free to listen, learn, and ask questions. Hostile or hateful comments will not be published, so don't waste your time. If you were once part of Comicsgate and not anymore, or if you're like trying to get out now and you would like some guidance, feel free to email me. And Lil Dicky Meyer, if you take issue with the content of this video and can get your tongue out of Ethan's enormous gaping asshole long enough, I'd be glad to meet up and settle it like men, you fucking bitch ass cuck.
Look, clearly Richard's upset. He can no longer pick up any comic book and instantly relate to the characters he sees. And that's a real feeling, because it's how women and minority groups have felt their entire lives. Wake the f*** up, Richard. The characters you don't like aren't written for you.